So sorry, everyone who was already in the call, the little technical delay, it's actually, in my case, it was my fault. So my apologies for that. I don't want to spend too much time on talking right now because we're already a little bit delayed. Just from my side, I'm really happy that today we have such an interesting topic here, talent management in the new world. And I think that's a very important topic, especially in these times of the pandemia. I think at the one side, we will probably have a lot of new talents coming to the market as some companies are right sizing. So for the companies who are hiring, it's about, you know, finding the right talents, and for the companies who are right sizing at the moment, it's also about keeping the right talents in your company. And there I'm just super happy that we have today here Frank Aernout, CEO from Nalantis. We have Guido Van Humbeeck, who is the Director Architecture and Innovation at the VDAB, which is the Public Employment Service of Flanders. And we also have Bruno Vermeeren here, who is member of the Director of the Belgalux, who will give you some more insights on this one. And I would like to moderate the webinar, but there's no one who can do it better than Anne. So with that, I would like to hand over to Anne, who will then moderate the webinar.
Yes, we are in the presence today of Frank Aernout. So Frank has studied law. He has thereafter done an MBA at Vlerik School. He has started his career as a marketeer with PepsiCo and Procter & Gamble. Then he made a switch to the music world. And after that passage in the music world, he dedicated all his energy to artificial intelligence. So he is the owner of Nalantis, and through Nalantis, through this company of artificial intelligence, he is always also putting this available for different applications. So he is working a lot together with Guido Van Humbeeck, who is head of architecture and innovation at the VDAB. And so today they are going to present us a new concept of talent management in the new world, with the new tendency for the 2020 and the 2030 decades, and the new competencies and the new skills. So I would like to hand over the word to Frank and to Guido to take us into a very interesting webinar.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Anne, for the kind introduction. You're seeing my screen well, right?
Yeah. Yes, we do.
All right. Okay, so I'll first give you a little glimpse of what we do, because you may think the VDAB, you know or you don't know, but they are the Public Employment Service for Flanders, so that is well known. But Nalantis, who is Nalantis? We are a technology company. So I'm not here as an HR person, but I'm here from a technology point, but I'm very heavily involved in HR technology, competences, skills, and so on. So what do we do? What does Nalantis do? To put it as simple as we can, we are an AI company and we write software, which these days is called algorithms. We write algorithms that do a contextual understanding of natural language. Or put it even more simple, we will look at text, at data, and we will read it and understand it as a human would do. A very simple example, if you would write that you went to the bank to pick up money, you would know automatically that with bank, you meant the financial institution. You did not mean the thing in your garden where you can sit on. You did not mean the riverbank. Normal software doesn't know that. It says bank, oh wait, let me see, it has 9 different meanings. Technology that understands a sentence knows that here we're talking about bank as financial institution. Or with an example from the HR world, when I say I'm a sales representative and I report to the CEO, then this software will know, okay, I am, what follows now is what this person does. And I report to says nothing about the person, but about the hierarchy and so on and so on. Whereas traditional software will just say, salesperson, CEO, but doesn't know what the relationship between these two. These are quite simple examples, but that is to give you an understanding of what it does. It is interesting to know what the technology just stands for, to better understand a few of the examples that I will give later on. So that's what we do. we could work in different, and we do work in different domains, not just in HR. HR is for the moment our core competence, our core market, but we also have applications in Sydney administration, applications, legal, and so on and so on. The system reads throughout different domains, throughout different languages. That means we could read text in Portuguese and match or compare them with English text or with Chinese text or Spanish or whatever. And we are also not bound by any format, any structure, any type of paper. As soon as it is words, we can understand them, match them, compare them, and so on and so on. That's what we do. And as I said, we mainly work right now in the HR industry, and we work for different partners ranging from a VDAB, Public Employment Service, to federations, to banking federation, to private companies, and so on. So we work public and private sector alike. So that's the only thing I wanted to say about us, but it gives you an idea why I will say certain things that I'm going to say. What will this presentation do? This presentation wants to share some information that I have, wants to question. I like questioning people, because a lot of the things that I will say will be very simple, like, sure, yeah, of course, yeah, I knew that. But then the question is, yes, but are you doing it? Are you following it? Are you implementing it? Are you living it? Or are you just saying, yeah, I know this. So that's what I want to do. That's what this presentation wants to do. What it will not do, and that is my promise, I will not teach, I will not preach, and I will not sell, because I know that's what you don't want to hear. So it will just question you. Ladies and gentlemen, the world of work has changed from working, what happens today, that's not the same as having a job. A few things have changed over the last 10, 20 years. In the olden days, and this may be our fathers, at least my father, I'm in my fresh 50s, so this could be my father. You were choosing a job for life. You know, this is what you wanted to do. Actually, there were only 100 jobs that you could choose from, and you did that for the rest of your life. Whereas now, people start talking about work-life balance. You work, then you don't work, then you work for money, then you work as a volunteer. I mean, it's a whole different thing. There is no such thing as one job. That means you don't work for one company, which again, that's what happened in the olden days. You could go work there. After 20 years, you got a watch. After 25 years, you got something else. And, you know, that's how it went. And now people work in different companies at different times, or even at the same time. Because this in the week, at night, you do some volunteer work, and in the weekend, you work in a theater because you like that, and so on. So things have changed. One job, one company. Another thing that changed, one diploma. That's how it went. You went to school, got a diploma, put it on the wall, and that was it. And now we're all into lifelong education. We keep on learning. Yes, we go to school, and yes, we get a certain education, but that is just the start. Because after that, we take courses from the employer or on our own, or we stop working, you know, because we want to go and study again. So this one job, one life, one company, one diploma, all changed to multiple things you want to do, multiple ways you want to have your life. Now that must have an impact on what happens with talent. And we see that. Talent is not put anymore. Talent doesn't stay put. Talent travels, because talent wants to grow to more companies, more experiences, more education, more, and so on and so on. So you know they're going to travel. So you might as well make them travel within your own organization. And I want to tap into a research that Randstad has done, and from which I copied a couple of slides, just to show you, and this is very specific on Brazil. Over the last year, about 17% of people across all industries and so on, and across all kinds of jobs, about 17% of the people left. You know, they went and worked somewhere else. About 1 out of 3 actually says that, well, next year, I'm going to change. Now, let that be a bit exaggerated, because it's not because you say that you're going to change that you will. But let it be somewhere between 17 and 36. That means 25% of your staff, 1 out of 4, may leave you. And we all know what that means, people leaving. It means you've got to hire new people, you've got to train new people, you've got to wait until they really, you know, produce the goods and stuff. It is very labor intensive, and it's very money intensive as well. So you don't want that. Now, why do they leave? Why do they leave? Yes, salary, you know, a package, a nicer car, that still works. But look, more than half of the people say, I want to go there because I can progress my career. Think about the people not wanting to work with one company for a full life. They want to change. And half of the people say they want to move for career, you know, and that is new. If you would make a progression for the last so many years, you would see that it comes from about 30, 35% to over 50 now. You know, the people who want to leave, the same thing. You know, the previous chart was the people who did leave. Why did they leave? The people who want to leave, exactly the same thing. So 25% of your people are bound to leave, you know, and half of them say that the biggest reason for that is career progression. Well, then you want to do everything you can to keep your talent and to train them well. You know, if you look at what do Brazilians find attractive in a job, there you see that internal training and education even comes before the number of holiday days they get and the group life insurance and their package and whatever. People want to develop their talents. Is that new? Yes. No. It's always been like that, but it's increasing. People didn't think about what their competences and skills were that much 10 and 15 and surely not 25 years ago. But now, you know, people are more, you know, they're more agile. They want to move, they want to grow, and so they leave you. Does that mean they're less loyal? Maybe. People are loyal to themselves and they want to develop and they want to grow, which in all cases is a good thing for them, for you, for the company, for the economy. It is a good thing. Well, you may want to get the best out of that. So it is even more important than anywhere before. You got to see the talent, you got to train the talent, and you got to keep them. Talent management has been key, you know, is key now more than ever before. And I know this is one of these slides and you go like, yeah, so what's new except some of the numbers that you didn't see? Well, it isn't new for you. You've seen this because you all, you know, do your work well and you're all professional people. But the question is, are you implementing it really? Are you working? Are you doing something? So talent management becomes, and this is one of the few definitions that I want to use, talent management is really methodically in an organized way and setting up a strategic process of getting the right people in there. But once they're in there, treating them in the way, training them in the way that is needed to keep them. Make sure they are in the 83% of people that stayed and not in the 17% that went away, or not in the 36% that are thinking of going away. Make sure from getting them in, because it's a full process from attracting them to the acquisition and the onboarding to developing to retain them. That's the full, you know, the full spiel of things that you have to do within talent management. And I want to zoom in on 2 or 3 things, you know, and as I said, I'm just zooming in, I'm mentioning things, saying, hey, think about it, things to remember, and that's it. I'm not going into detail, or I'm not going to bore you to death with numbers and facts and stuff. I'm just going to, you know, I want to plant a couple of seeds that you think, well, actually, yeah, next time I do this and that. So let's talk about attracting people. It's not just that the way of work changed. It's not just that people are looking at a career and talents and development in a different way. This happened as well, you know, without us noticing. Actually, it just happened. The world went mobile. Okay, yeah, we know that. Yeah, I know Instagram. I have a Facebook page. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel and stuff. I know, but are you using it when you are engaging, attracting people? Are you using it the way that you know? Do you speak their language? Do you speak mobile? You speak Portuguese and English, but do you speak mobile? You know, in before the sourcing of yesterday, and yesterday is not that long ago, it was straightforward. You would put an ad somewhere. First, it was in a newspaper. Then it was on a website. Then it was in a job fair. You know, you would post the jobs, but it was very company oriented. It was very, come see me. I have jobs for you. Want to work for me? Come and see me. But now that looks completely different. A sourcing strategy yesterday was which newspaper to put it in. or which website. Sourcing strategies today are very complex and very candidate oriented, because remember, before it was easy because this person had one diploma, one company, one life. It was easy. Yes, you could go and talk to an assistant bookkeeper when you were looking for a bookkeeper, because that was the normal progression that he would make or she would make. Not anymore. You've got to look at all different elements to find people. It is becoming very complex. It is very candidate oriented, because this candidate says, hey, I'll come with you, but are you flexible? Are you mobile? Can I develop my talents? It's a whole different thing. It's a whole different communication. It's no longer come see me. It is a candidate saying, come get me. Now, that must have an impact on the way that you recruit and on the tools that you use. And when you think, yeah, but this mobile, everybody talks about it, but it's not that much. Here are a few numbers of Brazil. Worldwide, there's 5.5 billion mobile phones. And when I looked for this number, you know, that was a week ago. So most probably 100 million have been added. But look at Brazil. Brazil is the 5th place worldwide for mobile phone usage. Brazilians use 4 hours per day. They use their phone. They're on mobile internet. They have on average 70 to 80 apps. They live on their phone. Okay. And that is true. Brazilians are really diehard mobile users, but mobile internet users, which means when you talk to people, you know, you have to talk mobile. As I said, you have to speak mobile. You have to make sure that your recruitment pages on your website are mobile. You have to make sure that you are native mobile. And you'll say, no, but it's fixed. It's fixed. My website and my career pages, they are in mobile, they are in responsive design, so they fit well. That is not mobile. That is making your website applicable on a phone. But really thinking mobile, what do people do on their mobile? They type short sentences, not pages, but short things, or they talk to it. I mean, speech is getting the control mode for everything rapidly. Do you have recruitment tools where people can actually just pick up their phone and type in a sort of a mini CV and say, hey, I'm a plumber and I'm specialized in pipe fitting, and actually do you have that? It's a pity, because that's how they use their phone. Can people talk to your website? Can they pick up the phone and say, I'm Frank, I'm a nurse, I'm specialized in intensive care? And can they? Make sure that you do, because that's how your audience works and lives. And not just these 21-year-olds, you know, but also the 30 and the 40 years old, because it goes fast and people pick up. So in the attraction of talent, think mobile. That's one of the things that I want to tell you. Sure, you know that a mobile is used a lot, but think it through. If you know that, then why don't you use it yet, right? And then the other, I'm not going to talk about acquire and onboard and so on, because that's really HR topics. But I mentioned already on this develop and retain. Talent does travel. People will go away because they want to grow, they want to blossom, they want to pick up new stuff, new experiences, and so on. So when you want to retain them, maybe this approach is not longer the right one. The talent view, the classic view on talent is work experience, school, you know, and some language knowledge. Which diploma do they have? And that diploma actually follows them for the next 10, 15, 20 years, because you will keep on looking at this person who is industrial engineer as an industrial engineer. You know, despite the fact that he or she has other talents, you won't see them. They're an industrial engineer. And you will look at work experience. The first thing when you look at a CV, where did he work? Where did she pick up this? Yeah, maybe that's not the right way anymore. Because, again, I said the world of work has changed. We are in a technological revolution. We're in industry 4.0, and there's plenty of names that people have given, but the world is changing at a very, very rapid pace. And all of a sudden, there are changing demands for new competences. People have to be transdisciplinary, technically savvy. I mean, people have to be different than before. There is no more just one job and one diploma, and that's what I thought at school, and so on. I mean, jobs are changing, the world is changing. 30% of 60% of the jobs will be computerized. You know, you see all these studies saying within 10 years, 40% of the jobs that exist right now will be replaced by other jobs, and so on and so on. I mean, there's more rapid change in the way that the world works, and the functions and the talents that are needed than before. So it doesn't make sense for you to always look at what is the past work experience of my candidate, what are the diplomas that she got before. I mean, it's one of the elements, but really not the element. What is the word that keeps on coming back in this slide, in the other slide? You know, competences. We need to take a new view on people. Don't look at people as a CV. Don't look at people as job fillers. Look at people at a bunch of competences. Competences, knowledges, skills, attitudes. And again, this is something that you go like, sure, it's just the same with another name. Not true. It is completely different. It is a different view on people. And as simple as it sounds, as reluctant people are, because it is so easy to just take the CV and say, yeah, so what's the work experience? Ah, he was a Java developer before. Good, because I'm looking for a Java developer, you know, and you're reassured. Ah, he's a bookkeeper, fine, he's a bookkeeper. But you will never look at the bookkeeper, whereas this person is an excellent project calculator, doesn't come into mind, because a bookkeeper is a bookkeeper, right? Because you look at the wrong things. The things to look at are competences. And I promise you, there's only two definitions in there, but a competence is a set of characteristics and skills that will enable and improve the efficiency of doing a job. Actually, a competence has a few elements in there. There's knowledge. What do I know? What have I studied or picked up in a job? Or what do I know? What's the information that I have? The know-how. What can I do? What am I able to do? What skills did I pick up? And then how am I? Am I a proactive and an interactive, you know, and a passionate person, a team leader, a follower, and whatever. So what do I know? What can I do? What am I able to do? And how do I do stuff? And it's only when you start looking at people like this that you will start looking at people in a completely different way. Not as the bookkeeper, because this person studied, maybe even by mistake or by coincidence, bookkeeping. No, you will look at somebody who could do a job that is maybe called bookkeeper, but it's maybe called different as well. You look at competences. Competence to me are the gateway to all development of talent, whether it's other functions, other careers within the company or within the sector or without the you know, outside of the sector. Like, for example, we work for the Belgian Banking Federation, and there a lot of people, unfortunately, have to go and look for jobs outside of the sector because the number of jobs are decreasing because of digitalization and automation and so on and so on. Well, if you look at these people's past work experience, they'll never get a job in their life because they have been sitting working as a cashier for 20 years. And cashiers, that's the job that goes away. What do these people do? Retire? No, they're full of competences. They're full of skills and things they know and they can do. And it's only by looking at them that way that we can give them a job somewhere else. As I said, within the company, within the federation, within the sector, within and so on and so on. It is really the groundwork for training and development. And we've shown with a few numbers how important it is, because if not, 1/4 of your people are just running away like that. I mean, 36% is thinking of it, 17% did it. I mean, there's a gap that you can work on, right? To keep them in. Now, I don't want to go into details. There are, but I just want to show this. There are plenty of huge organizations getting into, you know, standardization of skills and competences and so on. There is ESCO, which is the European classification system built by the EU and available in about 25, 26 different languages for the whole of Europe. There is ONET, which is international but US based. There is a system from the ILO, the International Labour Organization, called ISCO, which is also international and so on. There's plenty standards, but that is not so important now. I just want to show that it's not a local phenomenon here, or just in Finland, or just in Flanders, or whatever, or just in Brazil. It is an international thing, and there are huge organizations getting structured. Now, one of the front runners, I'm very happy to say, you would first of all not expect, because that's a, you know, one of these stigmatic views that we have, you would not expect the government, a public employment service, to be one of the front runners. Well, actually, I know a few of them who are. And one of them, who's also within Europe, I can say, Guido cannot say that, but I can say that for him, the VDAB is looked upon within Europe as one of these front runners who really work with competences and skills much more. And that's why we work together since a few years already, because they've been the advocates long before I stepped in, because, you know, we're just the technology boys, they're the real competence people. So that's why I'm very happy to give you, to let Guido give you his view on how a public employment service goes about competences and skills and how important that is. And here's for you, Guido. He's the director of architecture, but for me, more importantly, even innovation within the VDAB Public Employment Service Flanders. Guido, I will give you the floor.
Thank you, Frank. Well, good afternoon, good morning, I presume, to everybody. First of all, let me tell you, I have some liaison with Brazil, you know, because an aunt and an uncle of me used to be missionaries in Brazil. They're both dead. I don't know whether there is any relationship with Brazil or not, but no, they're old. Anyway, given that introduction, like Frank said, we have to look differently at people. We have to look differently at jobs and functions. According to a study, and that was very motivating to give some direction to my AI team. I have an AI team of people who are doing AI, of about 13 people. I work closely with Frank too on specific issues. But according to that study of the World Economic Forum, 52% of all employees will have to be reskilled or reoriented. Jobs will disappear, new jobs will appear, right? Jobs that we don't know yet or we don't describe well yet. But the only constant thing in the whole story are competencies, right? You will describe new jobs in terms of competencies. You will describe profiles in terms of competencies. What are you looking for? And can I have the next slide, please? So we are using competencies for two purposes. First of all, as some kind of unified language between different stakeholders, right? Between us and the Department of Education, between us and business sectors, so that we speak the same language when we discuss specific jobs or specific professions. The other usage is that what if we could translate free text into a standardized set of competencies? That was the whole thing. We had to match job vacancies described in natural language on resumes. Now, if you want to automate that process, you can do two things, and we do both. First of all, you can ask the person who publishes the job vacancy to say, well, these are the competencies, the standard competencies that I believe are needed for this job. And you can ask the job seeker to say, well, these are my competencies, and this is how I score on it, right? At that moment, you have a translation into a format you can compare. But very few people take the occasion or want to spend time to mention all their competencies. And so the idea was, what if we could deduce the competencies starting from a job vacancy, or starting from a resume, or starting from a free text? Because also the descriptions of trainings, right? Trainings, they work on competencies. So by being able to translate it into competencies, you can compare these different texts. You can find gaps and you can find overlaps. And basically that's the idea. And we work together with Nalantis to, we call it the competence seeker, right? You give a text, and out of this text come these competencies. And then you can do a lot of a lot of things. You can do matching. How good does a job matches on a candidate, or vice versa? You can use it for finding the gap in competencies, and more. Well, we should stop believing that we can find the white raven, right? Especially in Europe now with the Corona crisis, it has changed, but that it will, once that is over, we will come again in a situation where there is a lack of people. So we will have to find people that are good enough and educate them. So we have to look for competence gaps that we as an employer would be able to bridge, right? So that by investing a little bit in that person, that becomes the white raven. So we use competencies in matching. An interesting thing is that sometimes people prefer to specify specific words. We have an AI system that translates these words. Well, if you have this, then by the way, we believe these are the competencies. And the last thing that we put in production, and I'm pretty proud of it, is what we call the job radar. Basically, we say, describe yourself, give me your CV, describe yourself in terms of competencies or in types of jobs that you did. And then we will show him a radar telling him, well, by the way, these jobs are within your reach. But by the way, these are the competencies that you lack. The next step that we are working on is, and by the way, because you lack these competencies and you would like to do this job, these are the trainings that could be followed, right? So there you see the central role of competencies in the whole recruitment and job finding, job matching market. That's basically the thing that I wanted to share with you.
Okay. Thanks, Guido. Yeah, I just thought it was important to know that it's not just ideas or things that one could do. It is things that are, being done. And as Guido said, it goes pretty far. It goes to being a complete advisory tool where you say, this is who you are, this is what you could do, this is what you have, this is what you lack, but here is how you can train it. And it becomes a whole tool to take people from, getting to know what their talents are, to getting to train them to get the best out of their professional life. So when you are getting interested, and you should by now, if you weren't already, into competence thinking and analysis and matching, make sure that you have the right tools. Make sure that you stop looking at a CV, but look at people's, what we call, at people's work DNA. Who are they? The DNA, your DNA is who you are. Look at their work DNA. And that is not just a set of past job titles. It is way more. So, and make sure, because it's a mobile world, make sure that people can give you that information through their resume, because the resume won't die for the next years yet. Make sure they can also do it by just writing something up, or maybe by doing something on voice. Make sure that, because it's a mobile world, they can give you that information in any shape or form. And then make sure you give them some extra tests, because in a CV or in a spoken message, you will only say that much. Make sure you give them some more tools where they can explore themselves, easy tools for them to build that work DNA. So then you can build it in something rich. And Guido touched upon a couple of them. There's various applications. You can use it as a simple talent assessment tool. Yeah, that's where it starts. But as I said, and as Guido also highlighted with the job radar, you can use it for internal mobility, make that person grow out of his or her predefined direction into something new if they've got the talents, or if you need their talents there. Career progression, guidance for study. People who just fresh from school, what are they going to do? Nobody knows. In the old days, you were either a doctor, a pilot, or a lawyer, or anything in between. Right now, people don't know what they could do. So help them. And on the right side, and I know it's in Dutch because it's from a Dutch company using it. They're using the tool to guide people and say, okay, this is what you studied, this is who you are. Now these are sort of professions that you could go and do, and these are all the skills that you need for that. And by the way, these are the highlighted skills are the ones that you have already, and so on. So it can help to as a guidance for your study, or for training, or for self-development, or whatever. And there's plenty of organizations, federations starting to use it. This is just another example where Agoria, which is the Belgian Federation for Technology Companies, they said, we want to look at not just competences in general, but digital skills. We want to measure how digital are you, and are you weaponed for the future? Because everybody will have to become increasingly digital, even a cook, whatever. And here they have developed, or we developed a test for them, but I mean, what the technology guys behind it, they made a test where you can say, you go through a test, what your digital skills are, and then it maps it on either the job that you have right now to show you what are you lacking today, 2020, but it can also give you a view on 2030. What will you as a cook in 2030 need as digital skills? And all of a sudden you see where the gaps are, you can go to the training and you're gone. So competences allow you so much more than just saying, good CV, good job, match. It does that as well, but it does so much more than that. So, are we ready for a summary? I thought I need to get something Brazilian, something football, you know, something. So this is my Brazilian contribution next to the Randstad slides, but some people may find this more attractive than the Randstad slide, whatever. So a summary. As I said, I want to send you away with a couple of questions for you to think of before saying, yeah, I knew all that. Well, the world went mobile. Yeah, we knew that. But did you follow? Did your HR tools follow? Do you have websites that are truly mobile? Can people talk to your career pages? Can they do text messages? Can they upload the CV in their own format, not in your predefined 25 boxes? So did you? You know it, but did you do it? Secondly, are you still thinking, I need to fill a job? Or are you starting to think talent management, talent progression, talent education, evolution? You know, don't think job fill, think talent and talent management. And thirdly, do you believe in competences? You know, the answer is yes, even if you think no, right? The answer is yes. The only right answer is yes. And one last thing, you know, with a bit of a twink of an eye, don't be this, you know, where one day a CFO walks into the office of the CEO and he says, well, I think we spent way too much money developing all these talents and competences and skills and whatever. What if we spend all that money and people leave? And the wise CEO says, well, what if we don't invest and they stay? So if there's only one thing or two things that you can or you want to remember, think competences. I say please because please, I know that it will help you, not please for me, but it is a thing. And that's the only thing that I wanted to say. And hey, I just said it. I'm Frank. If anybody has any question, we can either do them after the next presentation or send me a mail or whatever. And then I'm happy to provide you Guido's coordinates as well, which I'm sorry I didn't put them on here. But then you can get Guido's coordinates as well. I'm sorry if I sort of stole away this picture with just me. But okay, so thanks for, I guess you're all listening. I cannot see how many people ran away, but I'm assuming we still have a few left. And then I think it's to Anne, Tom, Bruno, I don't know. It's,
Frank, thank you very much for this very interesting presentation. It's really a very actual themed a topic today. So before giving the word to Bruno, I would like to ask you maybe to put one small observation. So through everything that you and Guido have showed us, you say that today even we have artificial intelligence available that could help the companies today to analyze their whole, all their employees in terms of competencies and skills, and they could help through yours or other artificial intelligence to analyze what all the competences are that they have and that they should develop in order to combine with the strategic plan, with the digital transformation. So today, this would be available for the companies.
Yes, and because it is, and the reason that I didn't use the word AI more often, or I didn't use more examples, is because I promised you in the beginning I wouldn't sell, and AI is used a lot as a buzzword as well. But indeed, it is AI, machine learning, semantic analysis, and so on that allows all of this to happen, and it's happening in the back. These are examples where AI, machine learning, technology is there to help the HR department. Actually, I'm always saying, and that sounds a bit strange, you're using automation to make HR even more human. Mm-hmm. Because all the things that we do, all the analysis, the comparison, and so on, that's all done now manually and in your head, and it takes too much of your valuable process. HR is an art, and this technology allows you to spend more time on art. It will not replace a person. It doesn't, it shouldn't, and we're never pretending that it does. But it are tools that do so much homework and groundwork for you that it makes it much easier, much more agreeable, much nicer for an HR person to work with that, and much more effective, much more efficient. That's what it does.
I want to add to that. AI are just techniques. Right? It's just techniques that allow you to deduce knowledge, some algorithms out of data, right? And you have natural language processing, you have vision, you have machine learning. Actually, it doesn't really matter. What we do at VDAB is what I call augmented decision making.
Yeah.
The systems don't take decisions.
Sure.
It will always be the human, the person, the individual that will take decisions. But it helps me in speeding up my decisions, in finding things that I didn't see before, right? So AI is just a means. What comes out, the insights that you derive, that will help you, right? And that's basically the main message that I bring to the people. And then one more thing about AI, right? All of you, or most of you, will have heard about the Amazon failure, right? Amazon used an AI model, right? And that model mostly hired white men. Everybody was screaming, what a bad system. Basically, this system is not usable, but extremely important, because what this system did was proving that there was a lot of bias and discrimination in their HR organization. Don't blame AI, don't shoot a messenger, right? And of course, when you build AI systems, you have to be careful about it. But AI as such, right, is never wrong.
Yeah.
It means something is wrong in your company if it's wrong. So it always helps. That's my main message. I'm a big defender of AI. I believe in it, but I also know the pitfalls. But look at what you can do with it, not at the technology.
Okay. Thank you, Guido and Frank. I think this is a very optimistic message for lots of HR companies. I know from own experience, it's not an easy task for an HR department to map all the competencies of everybody. And the fact knowing that today we have artificial intelligence that is available, that people, that companies could look into to help them to speed up this process, to prepare their people, to train their people for the future challenges of the 2020-2030 decade is really is a very good notice. I had a good day today already just by listening to you. So I think from here, we can maybe make the connection to Bruno. So Bruno Vermeeren is Belgian. He is also director of the Belgalux. And Bruno was the person who put Belgalux in contact with Frank and with Guido. And Bruno has a company and is working together with Frank in Rio de Janeiro, where he has a company calling Be Work Happy. And so he would gladly take a few minutes to present his company and to show a small example of what artificial intelligence can do. So things that he is doing already with the company Be Work Happy, which is an international company, and Bruno is representing Rio de Janeiro at the Brazilian branch. So Bruno, please, the floor is yours.
Everybody can hear me, I think. Thank you, Anne, for the possibility to give a small presentation, and my thanks to Frank and Guido for the extremely good presentation. I will present now shortly our company, Be Work Happy. If it is okay, Be Work Happy. In Brazil they say the matriz. It's the headquarters. It's in Antwerp. The headquarters is called Nalantis, and you heard the CEO from Nalantis 1 minute ago, Frank. But it's more than just Belgium and Brazil. Be Work Happy and Nalantis are spread all over the world, even offices in China, because our software can read and understand also Chinese, for example, Mandarin, the basic one. We have users and officers in the United States, South Africa, Arab, Morocco, the Netherlands. So we're Philippines. We're spread as a company worldwide. Okay, what is Be Work Happy? I made these slides for our Brazilian participants in Portuguese, but I'll keep on speaking in English. Be Work Happy is offering recruitment solutions, intelligent recruitment solutions for companies. With companies, we mean it's a very wide field. It are also universities, unions, companies like Coca-Cola, but also smaller companies. The software is off the shelf, as they call it, already ready to use, but also tailor-made. For example, companies in the United States did ask to add some specifics on the software. The software is sophisticated and very efficient. You will see in a few moments what I mean by that. But why are we different? Frank already told it, and Guido also. We're using artificial intelligence. All the other colleagues, they have software based on keyword recognition. We can read and understand text. Whether the text, Frank mentioned it already, whether the text is a text document, Word or Excel, every document we can read, but also voice. People take their mobiles and say, hello, I'm Bruno, I'm a conductor, blah, 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 blah. By the way, we filter all the E's and the A's. They are not, and we transform the text to regular curriculum or resume, but also video. Frank mentioned we are 2020. We have to be mobile. We have to speak literally and figuratively the language of our new employees. They use videos nowadays. So that's very important. That's all possible with our technology. Recruitment solutions, because that's where it all started, and Frank said it all right. Recruitment can be automatized, but hiring is an art. So nowadays, 70% of the time, up to 80% of the time, people are selecting resumes, looking for skills, reading other documents. It all has to be stored here in the people's mind or in endless Excel files. and it's a lot of a job. It's a lot of work, sorry, to get it all mentioned. With the Nalantis Be Work Happy software, we can read what's in a curriculum. We can read the skill reports of persons if they do the tests. And those reports are 3-4 pages. And we can also read other documents about the person. That all goes into our artificial intelligence machine, and our software creates a professional DNA. A professional DNA is a summary, is an overall view of all the documents in one. So that's the strong point of the technology. You only use 10 or 20% of your time to do this process, and there is left 70, 80, 90% of your time to do the hiring, the human fact of contacting people. So on the one hand, we have a database with professional DNAs. On the other hand, we have all the jobs available. It goes through our machine, and we get the right man on the right place, or women, of course. I have to be careful. So now I'm going to try to set up a small demo, a live demo. One moment, I have to switch here. Okay. Voila. The internet is very slowly, but okay, we'll manage. We made a platform for Fomenta. Fomenta is the company of the Prefectura of Rio de Janeiro. And with this platform, we will manage 700, 800,000 unemployed people in the state Rio de Janeiro to find them a job. But that's always the risk with live demos. I'll try again.
Bruno, your screen didn't change yet, so is it normal? So
No,
you're
no,
busy?
no, it's a problem here. I said I have the very slow internet now. I pay for the fast. Okay, do you see now something?
It's
Fabiano here?
It has not changed yet. We still see your slide of demo of vivo. So.
Oh, that's a problem because I changed my. I did change my my
so
screen.
You did make share screen with your new screen?
No, that's something I have to do, mate. I'm not an expert in.
Because it's not enough that you change your screen. You have to go again, select it, and say share screen.
Sorry about that. How do I get it? No. That's a problem because I can't go back. Okay, I will close this one.
Otherwise, stop sharing the old screen. If it's possible, then we can put it online on the internet as well. If it's not possible, Bruno, to share your screen and show the presentation, maybe then we can do it and we can film it and put it also together on the YouTube channel of Belgalux. Okay.
That's a good idea. We will do the demo afterwards.
Okay, perfect. And we will put it on the, okay.
Yeah. This was the main point I wanted to show to you all. If you want some more info or want a real demo online live, just feel free contacting me or contacting Belgalux. And it will be a pleasure to show everything au vivo online, live for you whenever you want. Also, Frank is available for live demos, I think. or more, or to explain more about the Nalantis product.
Okay.
Yeah, because first I thought, given time, I could do the demo, but we're 4 o'clock. We don't want to waste too much of people's time, so we can, we can do the demos at another time. Let's be conscious of time.
Tom?
Yeah, maybe just maybe we can just start off with a question. I'm not sure whether there are other questions coming in, but so first of all, thank you for the presentation. I think it's as you said, Frank, it's some of the things are kind of common sense. We know it somehow, but having it presented again and like in a bigger picture, all of a sudden makes you think of, oh yeah, sure, no, there's maybe opportunities to apply this. And talking of being the representative here in South America from the Lufthansa airline group, I can also share with you that also within Lufthansa, this now when you look at an organization itself, this very transactional view in working with each other, this transactional things, as you said, they will become more digital and digital. So it's going more towards project work. And that's also when we reorganized our organizational structure in the last 2 or 3 years a few times to become more a process-oriented organization, I would say. And with that also then the discussion came up, we have to actually, instead of just thinking about functions, we look more into projects. We have a problem, and in order to solve the problem, we need a task force. And actually, I think there also your concept is actually quite interesting, because me as a manager, if I then have to decide who is going to be part of my task force in order to solve that problem, you look at who do I remember who knows product management, and who can actually do Excel. Yeah, so and then you start thinking like, and then and if you really have such a database in your company that basically then also can show, hey, look, these guys have these skills. That's actually very helpful in order to source projects very efficiently. But I have 2 questions to that. First of all, what about data security? Because, is it then, can you force really an employee to give all your skills and then, then be able then as a manager to select, I have this guy over there who knows Excel very well, so I can source him there. So how is the interaction there with the employee? That's question number 1. And then question number 2 is also, and maybe I missed this, but you said, you as an employee, you can give your skills to that system, and then someone else can then look at how's my skills in the company. But actually, how do you factor in 30-60-degree feedback? So feedback also from other employees, because you could say, hey, I'm an empathic guy. But like once a year within Lufthansa, all the managers, but also the employees, they have to do a feedback round where other people give feedback about you. And then sometimes it's really surprising, because you think like, I have the skill empathic, but everyone else is like, no, you're not empathic. Yeah, you're an ego guy. Yeah. So how is that factored into Nalantis? So that would be my second question.
About can you force people? It depends. Such an approach requires a real buy-in of the people as well. But as more and more people want to develop, they are open for these kind of things. Right now, we're doing a platform with one of the, there's only in Belgium, there's only 2 really big telecom operators, right? And we're working with one of them, which is more yellow than purple, but I can't mention any name. But anyway, there you go. And they say we are about 4,000 people, and we don't have jobs anymore. We have roles and functions, and they don't work in departments, they work in squads, and they put together a squad for certain things. So they say we need a system where we can just look at what do we need, what does it take to get this thing done, and then they look at competences. And they're rolling it now out within the company and getting people's buy-in and saying, hey guys, we're living in a changing world. We're living in an ever evoluting environment. Do you want to work with us? But they want to buy in. Of course, companies are free to analyze a CV any which way they want. They have of their employees, they have a CV, they have their performance appraisals, they have the tests that the employees willingly took within the company, and all of that information they can of course reshuffle and look at it in a different way. And that's, for example, what one of the Flemish banks that we have does. They just take the information they have, they rehash it, or we do that, but and then they look at it and go like, oh, wait. And then they start having these discussions with people on rational information. But the telecom company wants to go much further and use this to have a discussion with the employee. Hey, where do you see yourself going? And there is a whole communication program saying, this is what we want to do. This is how we would like. You don't want to participate? Fine. Know that we will be working this way, but if you don't, fine. So yeah, it requires talks. And then on the other topic on, I'm a team player. I mean, every single CV says that people are a team player. I never saw a mail saying I'm a loner or I'm an ass. Nobody says that. So it remains of the HR person. But what we do is we say there are things that the person has written, and then there are things that come out of tests. And you could, for example, agree that whatever I've written in my CV is fine until a test proves me wrong. If I say that I'm very extrovert and a test that I've done says that I'm introvert, then one could say the test overrules what this person thinks, because everybody thinks of himself, you know, we're all Superman, right? Or Superwoman or Wonder Woman. But in the end, that is a decision that the HR department knows. And sometimes it's interesting to see that I think I'm extrovert, whereas the test says that I'm not, you know, or I'm a leader and I'm not. But we will never take information away. We will just give. And if there are conflicts, that is interesting for the HR person and his or her decision to take it away or choose one way or the other.
All right, thank you.
And all of the other security and data and privacy and so on is, of course, covered by GDPR and stuff. I mean, we work for the Banking Federation and for a couple of banks, so you cannot go much deeper into privacy settings and GDPR and so on. So we've passed all that. That is just on how you treat information, right? So we follow all that. Obviously, we have to.
Frank, let me add just one more thing. For example, for the platform Rio de Janeiro, Trabalhar no Rio, the candidate can do an online test about his competencies. And the online test will be integrated in his professional DNA. So that's part of the answer for some, I think.
Okay, thanks.
And if, for example, Lufthansa wants their own test, no problem. We can combine the Lufthansa test in our software. So that's
and
very flexible.
There was one thing, sorry, there was one thing that I thought about as well. The set of competences, because, you know, what is a competence? And as I said, there are a couple of big organizations coming up with sort of standards. But if a company says, yeah, but I have my own set, which is 100 or 1,000 or 5,000 competences, then we take that on board as well. For example, this telecom company, they said, we have our own set of competences. So it's not that the system forces you, yeah, but you have to follow A, B, or C. I mean, everybody can have his own set of competences, and then we'll do the analysis and give them exactly your competences. I mean, that is.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so Tom, will you close or do I do closing? So we have passed like a very interesting moment together. It's 11:10, so we passed a little bit or delay our time of 1 hour. I think this was a very interesting morning, a very interesting way to start our day. And it brings us a lot of new ideas. I would like to tell everybody that the documents that Frank and Guido and Bruno has made for us available, we will post them on our bio link on Instagram, and you can also obtain them by sending an email to the Belgalux. So we will gladly share them with you. So thank you so very much, Frank and Bruno and Tom, for your time. And also we thank all the participants for have spent this moment with us, and we stay available for any additional information that you can that you could want. And we will certainly have a follow-up on this very interesting topic in 2021 for sure. Okay, thank you very much. And
all right.
see you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
Ciao,
you,
ciao.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bruno. Thanks, Frank.